Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar for Release 106. Very soon you will see new features and functionalities that will be coming to your systems. Today we will give a brief overview of these features and functionalities. Because today's webinar is just an overview, if you have any questions or if you need any additional information, please contact your project managers. So our first feature we'll discuss today is our Office Online templates. Many of you might be familiar with the ability for your teachers to be able to add a Google Doc to an assignment and either make a copy or have view-only access. This feature is now available in Office Online, or will be very soon. The first thing your system admin needs to make sure and enable the Office Online functionality within the sysadmin settings. And once you've enabled Office Online, then teachers will be able to utilize the template feature. They'll be able to have a document that they can add directly from OneDrive. They can choose to make a copy for their students or view only. The student can then answer an editable copy of that document, and the teachers can then also review it in the all-in-one grader. This workflow is very similar to what we have currently with Google, and we are very excited to make sure that we can also bring this feature to our 365 Office Online customers as well. Because this feature is still being tweaked, we have a video of what the workflow would look like. So a teacher would go in and add an assignment just like they normally would. They would give the assignment a title, any directions that they want the students to complete or need during the assignment, and when they click Add a File, they can then choose a Word document, and then you'll see the option to make a copy for each student. Now we have the workflow from the student view where they go in and answer the assignment. They then open the document, which will then be editable because the teacher chose to make a copy for each student. The student then simply closes out the document and then clicks Submit because It's Learning remembers that pathway. Students do not need to remember the pathway of the document or upload it. Teachers can then go in and view the document in our all-in-one grader and make comments directly on the document. They can add comments in the comment section. And they can also make comments within the all-in-one grader, allow students to resubmit a new answer. And then the students will be able to see all of the comments on the document and in the all-in-one grader. Now, because of the complexity of this feature, we are going to have a very purposeful rollout plan. So most customers will not be seeing this feature and functionality available within their system until the end of May. One of the other features that we have is a consistent ability for the permissions picker within Microsoft, and also later on we'll see Google. So for example, when you have to connect your accounts to It's Learning, the end user has to allow permission for Microsoft and It's Learning to share that information. Some organizations have this configured where students are not allowed to give consent. So therefore, we have added the ability within the sysadmin tool for a system administrator to give consent on behalf of the entire organization. So once that button has been clicked and that ID has been provided, when end users then connect their 365 accounts, then they will no longer see that window that we just saw. We have some updates with our G Suite integration, and you can now have G Suite integration available by default. And so far, the integration we have is the Marketplace app, where you can actually download the app and add it to your Chrome extensions. You can add content from the Google Drive. You can make a copy for each student. And you can now automatically log on to It's Learning from your Chromebook app single sign-on. So we also have the allow connections automatically feature in the system admin tool, so that if students are logging on to their Chromebook with a Google account, it will automatically log them into It's Learning. You can also do this with not just a Chromebook, but with other devices as well. So you can allow Google to utilize It's Learning to utilize those Google accounts to log on to It's Learning system as a single sign-on, and users will automatically then be logged in once they log into Chrome or log into their Chromebook. Please note that this is only for educational accounts. This is not for Gmail type of accounts. So this is only those Google education accounts that we would be able to have this ability with. There is a guide within the sysadmin tool that we have links to that will show you more specifically how to set this up from the sysadmin side. And then we will need to disable the SSO and allow the connected automatically log in accounts. All of this information can be found with much more specific directions within the setup guide in the sysadmin tool. So therefore, on a Chromebook or in your Marketplace app within or Market extension within Chrome, if you are already logged in to a Chromebook or logged into Google, then you can have your account and It's Learning account connected. So this is the Marketplace app and the Chrome extension apps. So you can have it in your Chrome tray up here in the top or on your Google Chromebook. So either one, we can allow those G Education G Suite accounts to be utilized as an SSO when logging on to It's Learning. Again, just a reminder that this is G Suite education accounts. Gmail accounts will not be utilized in this way. So we'll make sure that the system administrator has connected your domains in the sysadmin settings. We do have the ability coming very soon to utilize the IMSE format. That more information will be coming about that toward the middle of the summer with the release 107. If for some reason students are trying to log in utilizing a G Suite account that has not been connected or is a Gmail and not a Google Education account, they will get a blue bar across the top of their screen that will explain the error that the automatic login did not work because we were unable to find an It's Learning account connected to that Google account. So just so you know, this blue bar will pop up when there is an issue with trying to log in with a G Suite account if the accounts have not been connected or if they're trying to log in with a Gmail account. After when they begin to connect their account, Google will ask them if they want to connect their Google and its learning accounts together from their Chromebook, and they can add files. You can do this the first time. You can not do this the first time and remind me the next time I log on, or if they don't want to connect their accounts, then they can say, don't remind me again, and they will have to go in through their user settings to connect their accounts at that point. So the same functionality that we spoke about earlier with Microsoft 365 with consent is also available with the Google. When users are connecting their Google and its learning accounts, they get permission window that allows its learning to access certain parts of your Google account. Again, as we mentioned earlier with the 365 accounts, some districts have it so that end users, particularly students, do not have the ability to give this permission. And so they can, again, do this through the sysadmin and give consent on behalf of the organization. Next is 360 reports. We've had 360 reports available for teachers for quite some time now. And with this release, we're going to have 360 reports available for students. So students can see the same information, obviously only their own data, that the teacher sees for the entire class. So students will have the ability to see their login days, durations, the number of visits. Also, if they have any progress, see their trends within their grades. So they can have all the same information. Again, this is a sysadmin setting that needs to be enabled first. So system administrators need to go into their global settings and check which reports, any or all, that would be available to students. The default at this point is off within the course. So this just makes the sysadmin setting just makes it available for teachers to be able to turn those on. If these settings are not enabled, then teachers cannot enable them. But once the sysadmin settings are enabled, teachers then have to go into their course settings, and they also have to say which courses or which reports are available in that course to their students. So it's a kind of a two-pronged approach. So we have to make sure that the sysadmin settings are enabled, and then the teacher has to make sure that the course settings are enabled within their course properties and features tab. So to break it down a little bit more, if the 360 reports are for teachers are off, then the 360 reports for students are not available, and the option to activate it in the course does not appear. So the site setting or the sysadmin setting has to be turned on. If the 360 reports are turned on in the sysadmin settings, then the 360 reports are available to students, but they're defaulted off, which means teachers have to go into their course settings to be able to turn these on. So, recap, sysadmin settings, if the 360 reports are off, then nobody can see it. In sysadmin settings, if the 360 reports are turned on, then teachers still need to go into their course and turn those on for students. Another feature for the 360 reports is the ability to directly message students from that 360 report. So if you see a trend with a certain student or even groups of students, then you can select their names and select the little arrow or mail button right up here at the top. And you'll be able to send a message directly to those students. So for example, if a student hasn't logged in for a couple of days, or their grades are trending kind of low, or they haven't maintained progress on something, then you can go into that report, click those students' name, click the mail button, and this window will pop open, and you will be sending individual messages So it will not be like a group message. Each student will get their own individual message, but you'll be sending it all at one time to those students that were selected. So the 360 reports can also be turned on for mentors. So if you are a customer that utilizes the mentor tab, there's a group of teachers or maybe even administrators that mentor or look out for a group of students that they might not be a teacher of record for. Then I can keep an eye on these students' 360 reports. And so we want to make sure that those reports are available for those mentors that are keeping an eye or helping out those students. Make sure that you understand that the reports are only around 500 students, and they kind of get a little glitchy if you're a mentor of more than 500 students. So we want to make sure that you have a good experience with the 360 mentor report. So understand that those reports are kind of limited if you are a mentor of more than 500 students. So again, if 360 reports are turned off in the sysadmin tools, then they're not available for mentors. If 360 reports are turned on by the sysadmin, then they're automatically available in the mentor tab as well. Surveys. This is something I know that many customers have been asking for. When you deliver a survey, particularly if you are surveying a large group of teachers or students, sometimes we might have users with the same name. And so it was hard to distinguish which user had taken that survey or what the results were, particularly if they had some of the same names. So we have now added the ability to see that unique username in the survey results that kind of helps it track that information. Again, this is not on automatically. This requires a sysadmin setting. And so this extra information needs to be enabled within your features and securities. And then once that is enabled, whatever system profile or role within our system has the ability to see detailed information about users, then that information will be viewed within the system. Typically, teachers and administrators and system administrators are allowed to see detailed information about users. But just keep in mind that if this is not showing up for a teacher, I do know that there are some customers that have detailed information turned off for teachers, so they would not see this additional username. So that kind of helps if that is not showing up for a teacher but might be showing up for administrators. Also, if it's an anonymous survey, obviously it's anonymous. We will not be seeing this extra information. Submissions in the old assignment tool. So we have some customers that have two assignment tools being utilized, the old one and the new one. And the old assignment tool will no longer be available after September of this year. So we need to just simply make a copy of that assignment into a new course, and then that assignment will be converted to the new assignment tool. So the biggest question I know that you are thinking right now is, well, how do I know? How do I know if I have an old assignment or a new assignment? So on the left, if you add an assignment, that is what the old assignment tool looks like. So you will see that there is no gray bar, editing bar on the right-hand side of the assignment tool. All of those options of date deadlines and standards are actually in the same white box and are listed below the directions box, the rich text editor for directions. The new assignment tool has those editable options in that gray box over to the right. So that's the easiest way to tell if you are on the old assignment or the new assignment. So those old assignments that have items that are not in that gray editable box on the right, they are listed underneath. Those assignments just simply need to be copied and it will be converted into the new assignment tool. So within our registration tool, we now have the ability to create course groups. Our registration tool, if you're not familiar with it, allows teachers to teachers of a course to have students of a course register for particular groups or topics or tutorial groups, research topics, and then from there, you could even have your students sign up for a particular book that they want to read, for literature circles, or maybe it is a study group session, small group tutorials. So whenever they now register for those options within the registration tool, teachers now have the ability to create groups based on those registration groups. So once I have a group that is registered within the registration tool, I simply create a group. And what happens is now I have course groups based on those registration groups. So if I had students that were signing up for a research topic, I can then create a course group based on those research topics, and then of course do all types of assigning and permissions and things based on course groups from there. So the registration tool is a really neat feature that now is kind of been bumped to a new level, because I can automatically create course groups based on that, and really neat things can happen with permissions within course groups. Courses with identical titles. This comes up quite a bit. So obviously there are some teachers with the way that the student information system feeds us information that might have 3 or 4 English 1 classes. And so, or it might be a course that has a long title that's truncated. So now when I hover over that course name, I can actually see the course code. So then that course code will be an easy identifier as to which math or which English course that is. In a pilot phase, we have a new task list, and I only wanted to bring this up because some of our customers will be piloting this for us and giving us feedback. But hopefully this task list will be coming very soon, fingers crossed. And I really like the new task list because it's split now into 2 different categories: into homework, into overdue, into past due. And so now the new task list will show you, as opposed to the previous view, the new task list will show you what is due today, what is due tomorrow, and what is overdue. And so students will kind of get a better viewpoint of exactly what do I need to focus on for today, or what do I need to focus on to get done for tomorrow, or oops, what do I need to do right away because it's past due. So our new task list will have a little bit different viewpoint, and we'll be piloting this, and hopefully should be in one of our very soon upcoming releases, because I really like the way this new task list can benefit students in organizing and prioritizing what needs to get done. Here's another viewpoint of the task list that would be from a student viewpoint, but also with a lesson plan there with it as well. Another feature that is in pilot mode with this release is to mass message. This would be something that would be utilized only by an administrator or a system administrator, but the ability to message everyone within a campus or within the district. So this would be very easily be able to send out messages, reminders, schools closed today, early release tomorrow. You could send to the entire district, to the entire campus. Don't forget pep rally on Friday, field trip, or senior class pictures, whatever would be necessary to communicate to large groups of students and not just one single class, the administrators and system administrators would have the ability to push out these mass messages. And here is what that mass message interface would look like under the admin tab. You would have a list of what those mass messages were and when they sent, who sent it and when they sent, and exactly which specific groups they were sent to. You can also send it to just teachers of a group or teachers and students, whatever the mass message is appropriate for. Thank you for joining our Release 106 webinar. We hope that you found this interesting and helpful. Hopefully there are some great new features that you're excited about. We love to hear your ideas. Please make sure that if you have any ideas for product updates or any ideas how we can help you or support you, please go to ideas.itslearning.com/ideas. We'd love to hear from you. And also, again, if you have any questions or need any additional information, please contact your project managers. Thanks again for joining us, and we hope to hear from you real soon.